right, today we have such a great, bright idea that it was so bright I had to wear shades. Yes, it's a great idea. Well, it could be because it's really sunny out here today, finally, after all the rain. But today we're going to talk about planting potatoes. Now, a lot of people have gardens with potatoes. Well, sometimes you don't have room for gardens. You have room for laundry baskets. Yes, we're going to plant our potatoes in these little $1, yes, at the Dollar General, laundry baskets. Okay? Now I got a question for you. Why do you not do bad things in the garden? Here's the answer. Because corn has ears and the potatoes have eyes. Just remember that. No bad things in the garden. So what we have to start with, the first thing we have to do is we have to prepare our seed potatoes. Now you can go to the store at Winn-Dixie or Publix or wherever and buy you some red potatoes. Well, most of those potatoes have been treated so they won't sprout. I wish somebody would have told the potatoes that I left in my pantry that, because they sprouted like crazy. But you want to get mature seed potatoes. And here I have some from our local farmers cooperative. And notice that the eyes on the potatoes are actually sprouting. These are actually the buds of the potatoes, and that's what will grow the actual plants. So the first thing you have to do is we're going to take some of these potatoes out. I've got a whole bunch of them in here, but we won't be able to plant them all. We could plant them in my garden, but my garden is so wet after all the rain that we had, and it wouldn't be a good thing. So we've taken some potatoes here, and if you notice, there's lots of eyes. This is an eye. There's an eye. There's some that are sprouting. But what you have to do is you have to cut the potatoes up so that each seedling or seed potato has a couple of eyes on it. So it's you have to kind of figure out how you're going to do that. So here's one. There's an eye right here, and here's an eye right here. So that one has two on it. And so we'll see what we can do with this. You want to make them about as big as a golf ball. So this one has an eye here and an eye here, and that one's already got blooms or sprouts on it. Now this one, it has eyes on it, but it's so small already, you want to plant the whole thing, okay? This one too, I could probably cut this one in half and be okay. And I'll show you a close-up in just a second. We'll cut this one in half so it has some eyes on either side. So this big one here, cut it here, and we'll cut it here. So that one's got enough eyes on it. This one, we'll cut it here, and maybe here. And our last one, our big old granddaddy one. Oops, I dropped that little bit stick off. Here. Here. Oops. And the last one. I can do something like that. So they're not perfectly the same size, same shape, but that's what we do. So now, the next thing you need to do is just wait a little while. You need to let them dry out just a little bit, okay? So, not sure why, but that's what my grandpa always did. And my grandpa always said you had to plant them by Valentine's Day. Well, it's a few days past Valentine's Day, but the Farmer's Almanac also says you plant them, I think on the full moon, and it's about getting there. So we're going to plant our potatoes in just a little bit. So stay tuned. We'll let them dry. Okay, so Now that our potatoes have dried out a little bit, we are ready for the next step. And the next step is your planter. So what we want to do is we want to take some old newspaper and just kind of line the basket with it. Keep the dirt from flying out. Okay? Kind of like that. Nothing fancy, just kind of keep the dirt from falling out. Now, I will tell you that you want to put it up high because you're going to be adding more soil to it after a while. So later on as the plant grows, and I'll explain that in a minute. But we're going to put some more newspaper in. Try to get it there. Doesn't have to be perfect. You want to read the newspaper as you're doing that, you can, but you don't have to. So we're going to put about 3 inches of good potting soil in the bottom of it. Okay, press it down. Ooh, got a little dirt on the table. It's okay, that's why we're outside. Okay, so there you go. You have about 3-4 inches of soil in the bottom of it. Now, what I like to do is I like to add a little fertilizer. Now this is Osmocote, and I'll just put a little in there. Some potting soils already has it in there. This one didn't. So I'm just going to kind of put it in there and just kind of mix it up. See that? And now we're ready to plant our potatoes. Okay? You want to plant your potatoes not real close to one another. I may have too many here. And you don't want to get dirt in their eyes. I'm just kidding. You can get dirt in these eyes. But I'm going to plant them around, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, I've got 4 in here. So when I look at them, we've got our potatoes in there. We're going to add some more potting soil. We want to cover it up another 2 or 3 inches. Make sure all of it's covered. There you go. So basket number 1 is ready to go. And you can do the same thing with the other 2 baskets. So let's do that pretty quick. Okay, so there we have our 3 baskets completed. Now, what's next? Well, the next thing you have to do is you have to add some water. You got to keep it a little moist, not soaking wet, but moist. And put these in a good sunny location where they get about 6 hours of sunshine. So I'm probably going to put them right here. Another thing that we do is as the plants start growing and sprouting, they'll come up through the soil, and as the plants get taller, we add more potting soil to around the plants, and that just makes it go higher and higher, and more potatoes in the soil. So when you do that, you'll have to add more newspaper around the edge, and you'll also want to be careful and put that soil. You want to mound it up around that plant, but don't cover up the leaves, because the leaves are kind of special. They're kind of important. That's where the plant makes its food, from sunlight and water and oxygen. Carbon dioxide. So it'll take sunlight, carbon dioxide, and that water and make its food, so we can grow those little potatoes at the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll put these in a nice warm spot, and in a couple of weeks, we'll come back on another Wow Wednesday, and I'll give you an update. Now, you try it. Go find you some Dollar General dollar baskets, get you some old newspapers, get you some potting soil, some fertilizer, and some good seed potatoes, and see if you can't make your own little container garden for potatoes. All right, I think that's all for today. I will be back with you and let you know how our potatoes are turning out. So keep your fingers crossed. My thumb's not real green sometimes, but we'll see. You guys have a great day, and plant you some potatoes.